All right, welcome to the June, yes, 16th, is the 16th of June, to the Joint School District 171 Board of Directors, regular board meeting. Carmen?
Yes. Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Kepke.
Here.
Trustee McIntosh.
Here.
Trustee Craig.
Here.
And Trustee Saint Germain.
Here. Thank you. Any motion to approve the agenda? See any amendments? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I will make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
carried. Thank you. I'm gonna have to remember you're online, Taylor. Blow by you. Can we get a motion to approve? No, it was
No.
up here.
We did it
We
the
did
first
it, yeah.
meeting, flag.
Discussion. Sorry.
You missed it.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 29th special meeting and May 9th regular board meeting?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda, or excuse me, the approval of April 29th special meeting and May 19th regular board meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion in the minutes? I thought I found an error, but they corrected it before I got to it.
Almost found it there.
Right. Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to our consent agenda. Motion to approve.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 My motion carries. Thank you. Reports and recognitions. I have a few here for the district as a whole. 100% of our seniors graduated, and I participated in both, and I was very happy about all that. 100% of our 8th graders met the state promotion requirements to move up to the 9th grade. Our IRI scores are showing we're above 80% of the standard as a whole. Our ISATs, are they still coming in? We're at 80, we're at above 80% there across the board. And one of the most important things and near and dear to our hearts and our budget is we had a 95% overall attendance district-wide this year. So shout out to all that work so hard to get us there. Anybody else have anything they want to call out?
Just the push from everybody in the last 2 weeks. Know how challenging that can be. You guys got them through it and got them to summer break. So
Survival. Huh?
survival, exactly.
Committee reports. Anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts?
Good stuff.
No questions.
I didn't either. Roy, the only thing I would love to see is a table that or a link to the 10-year plan so I can keep it top of mind on a regular basis. That would be super helpful, and maybe priority projects, what you had. Tables to me are succinct and clear and easy for you to update, maybe. A lot better than writing all those words, because I know you're busy. That's helpful. I know you're busy.
You guys find a summer person? Or are you still looking? That's a challenge for all the facilities and grass and water and all that good
Oh, for
stuff.
sure, yeah. Superintendent Hunter, you want to review your
Pilots?
report?
I do. We had our team of admins, principals, as well as Cody and a couple of teachers, Lisa Hanna, Susan Cunnington, and Deidre Jenkins, present at the PLC Collaborative in Boise last week. Our each school that was awarded the PLC grant was there to present, and our crew did a really nice job. We have such a unique district with all of our schools spread out across a large area, as well as a lot of districts don't have the two different high schools trying to have a PLC and alternative schools participating in the PLC. So we had a unique story to tell, and it went well. I was really proud of our principals and teachers and how they presented, worked together. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of positive comments from the presentation. Our coach, Suzanne, keeps telling us we're ahead, and we don't always believe her, but it kind of seemed like we might be after hearing some of the other stories. So that was really good. I appreciated our team and how well they did. And then following that, I kept the administrators, and we did a leadership summit. We got a lot of work done. A lot of it was planning for next year, celebrating some accomplishments. We worked on our professional development plan, district day planning for next year, substitute handbook, staff onboarding. Each of them worked on their IPLP, which is basically their goal for improvement for the year, same thing as teachers have. They set goals based on their performance. I required a marketing and branding goal. We're going to be more intentional next year about marketing and branding across the district. Each one of them will have a marketing branding goal as well as an attendance goal. And then we did some professional development around the specific criteria for how teachers qualify for the different rungs on the career ladder, specifically the advanced professional rung is the big one. And then did some leadership team planning. Next year, we're going to start going through the accreditation process again already. And so that's a district-wide accreditation, and it will be a year-long process where we document the work we're doing, collect evidence, put it in, store it so we can find it again. And then an external team will come in and do a review on our district. And at the end of it, we'll achieve district-wide accreditation again. So that's going to require a lot of work on our part.
Question on that.
You
I'm
bet.
sure that there are established criteria associated with that, or we're familiar with that as a
Yeah,
team.
we've been through it. Our familiarity varies depending on person and how often they've been through it. It's required of all high schools. We chose to do it last cycle as a district, and we're choosing again to do it as a district. I feel like it strengthens our team as a whole. We're really looking at best practice, and yes, there's a whole framework through Cognia. It's all lined out, and that's what schools in Idaho use for their accreditation.
How often, how many years is it?
5-year cycle.
Oh, wow.
Is that when we started looking at sort of vertical alignment associated with that, an accreditation process?
It definitely highlighted.
Seemed like it was about 5 years ago, we started talking about that.
It definitely highlighted some, disconnects, and those are kind of the common things they always come up with, but for sure and especially in a district like ours, that was a struggle. So, you get, people
Yeah.
spread out, not working together on common project. All of our PLC work will really support those efforts to become accredited. So I think it'll go really well, but it just takes a lot of work. So we started calendaring a little bit of, okay, here's when we're going to meet to be working on this. That's all we did really on this part of it.
And I think I saw in the individual school reports, in the narratives that you presented, sort of a tie back to some of the things we talked about with the PLC associated with learning environment and satisfaction. Yeah, that was good.
Just another random appreciation to the Rotary Club. They asked me to come and present to them, and I did. They were very welcoming and appreciative. They've really supported our kids in a variety of ways. If you were at either of the awards nights, they presented scholarships at both of them. They've helped the child nutrition program, donated to a variety of things. So it's nice to see people that are willing to serve, you know.
Mhm.
We need more of that. So shout out to Rotary. I think those are kind of my big rocks.
I touch on this.
Let me see if there's anything I want to add. I don't think so, not tonight. I'll do Chris had asked me, I told her for the July report, I'll do some, I'll do achievement data compared to our CIP, once I have all the graduation stuff in there and kind of show you how we did, where we met the goals, what goals we didn't meet. And then I can put some trend data together also.
I think that'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
I can highlight some of I do have,
Make yourself a digital note or write it on a piece of paper.
I'll email you to remind me.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Let me find something down here. Too many tabs.
To add to this, or should we? Move
Yeah,
on? Oh,
no, I'll
okay.
add some. There it is.
So while he's doing that, Cody, the stuff that you provided a link to, then you'll use, this is what he'll use to create that for next month. Okay, thank you. And I was glad to see your staff. You're at staff now? I think I read. That's awesome, right? That's huge. Yeah, yeah. I don't,
You've hit on some of the academic things, but I'll just throw out a few more points of pride. We listed some in our leadership summit, and we had several students earn CTE diplomas this year, CNA certificate earned this year.
That is good.
I'm looking for things that haven't been covered already.
I guess I have a question while we're here. The top, number 8, Timberline, number 8 in schools of excellence. What is the schools of excellence?
That's a IHSAA ranking system. And so the Idaho High School Activities Association.
Thank you.
And so schools are ranked in each category. Number of state competitions, there's points for, and that includes other activities like drama, things like that. You lose points if you have sportsmanship issues, ejections, things like that. And we've been in the top 10 a few times, and it's always nice to break into those top 10.
Sure.
So that was a recognition worthy of noting,
Awesome. I wasn't sure what that
but it
meant.
has to do with all those high school activities.
I was able to catch the FCCLA presentation of the students at the Timberline leadership, the open house kind of thing that they had. And I'll tell you what, I am so proud to talk about the TOAST program, where some youth developed a fellow student tutoring program and created a whole system around it. It'll be legacy if we can get students to continue to want to be those mentors. And I thought that was just super cool. Proud of him.
I think that's it for me for tonight.
I like the state on budget one too. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for superintendent?
Nope.
Okay, public comment. We have a public comment tonight. You know, approach the table, Ms. Sims. You do for the public.
Yeah, so people might
Yes.
be logged in. Yeah, just push the red
Just
button.
push the button on the face of it there.
There you go.
So am I
Yes.
on?
Yep.
Okay.
You're on.
Hi, thank you. My name is Lupe Sims. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
This is okay. And thank you for allowing me to make this public comment. I see that my name has been listed under the separations list. And I would like to let you know that I would like to coach one more year and the steps to doing so. Thank you again. That's all I have to say. And just press the button again.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you. And just for clarity, we're not allowed to respond to public comment. And any personnel conversations happen in executive, and I visited with Ms. Sims about that.
Great.
Okay, moving on to discussion items. This was interesting. Orofino cross-country team, and as a trail runner by passion, I was kind of happy to see that too. So please.
Yeah, quick summary on that.
I was approached by a community member who wanted to get the program back starting again. We garnered some initial interest and think that there'll be some kids that would like to come out and participate in that. I spoke with the IHSAA and they said all it would take would, approval to add the coaching position. And then we let the state know we're adding a team and we're fully able to compete. When I was in high school, cross country was a big part of how some kids stayed in shape. I think it'll help give opportunity to some of our kids that don't play other fall sports right now. So I think it could be great. So I would really like that. Right now we have, Timberline has a team and we potentially could co-op. That would be one other alternative, but as we know with the distance, that can be challenging. And I do think that we would have the numbers to garner a team down here that would be sufficient. So
And when's that season? You said
that's in the fall.
it's a fall season.
Mhm.
So we need to really think about what, if we want to do something like that. I wonder if there's a way to poll early to see what kind of interest we really have in the student population.
And from my understanding of it, as well as that, when approving the position is not saying for sure gung ho, we're going to do it. We would make sure that we had a sufficient number of kids. If we ended up with less than 5, I think we would have a real conversation about co-oping versus having an established team. So we would just budget for having that coaching position, but if we don't have a team, then that person obviously wouldn't get a contract. So
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was thinking about is that, well, and if we do move forward with a van purchase that we've talked about, would we provide school transportation up to Timberline for them to participate in an activity? So I think there's a lot of questions to vet out and think about is what would be that minimum.
yeah,
What
I'm
is it?
definitely open to that. Like I
look
said,
like?
there was some initial interest and
Yeah.
we're a big enough school to support that number of athletics. So
Yeah.
I think we can make it work.
Yeah, again, I think it's super cool because I love to run trails myself, but I want to make sure that we make the wise decision for
Yeah.
the district.
Absolutely.
So it's identified as an action item. Do we have any additional questions here? I think we have a lot.
I have
more.
I have more to add
Oh.
about it when you're done.
When
with
was the
that
last
one.
time they had a team?
I don't know the exact year. Like I said, I knew that it was a part of the program for a while. And this is kind of an aside as I think about it more, our track numbers are not as big as they have been in the past. I'm thinking you add in these elements of another, opportunity for them to be running and work, doing that. And again, when I was in school, a lot of kids use it as a training opportunity for some of their other sports. They even dual sported it because it was an opportunity to just run some more. So Jason can speak a little bit more to the district piece of it, but I think it's a worthwhile pursuit for our building. And like I said, if we didn't end up with the numbers, it's very easy to not have an established team, but giving up more opportunities for kids in my mind never ends up being a bad thing. So.
Thanks.
One of the issues that we have with it right now in our negotiated agreement, we have a district track coach listed. So if the board voted to, add cross country to Orofino junior senior high school, that would just be one step in the process. Another step, a significant one, is we'd have to reopen negotiations and change the existing agreement because it says district cross country coach. We've done things like this before. We did it with tennis, softball and baseball at Timberline. It's always like the sport is there, the position is there, but do we have enough kids to do it or not? So those decisions of, are we going to have a team this year or not? Those kind of are ongoing, especially in the smaller schools. The board would just need to decide, do we want to approve adding, cross country at Orofino junior senior high school? We have had some participation of kids that go up and participate with Timberline. And then of course we've had baseball, kids coming down here to play baseball.
Yeah.
What is the advantage of having a specific Orofino Junior Senior High School recognized team compared to having that just a combined team.
I think Jason can speak to this as well. Co-op is an option. It's not ideal, right? Because especially for it, we can't transport students or have limited transportation options. You're going to decrease the number of students that would participate significantly just because they have to go. Our co-op numbers have been very small. We had maybe 1, 2 baseball players that would make the drive, 1 softball player that made the drive. We had more interested, but then when the logistics came into play, it's like, okay, I have to go down there and, you know, you're not with your coach or they're sending workouts or you're having to commute. We have a co-op that we do also with Nez Perce for golf. It's complicated. Like, yes, we want to provide opportunities for as many students as possible, but when you look at the logistics, especially with our size, we would have more students participate if we weren't co-op, if we were our own team.
Yeah, I would think the high school numbers here should be able to generate that. It either will or won't.
Right.
No, and
But there's
If
enough
they're
kids.
interested in it.
the cost of coach is probably very similar if you're shuttling up and down the hills too. I mean,
So,
Yeah, the students, when we've done the co-ops, we've done it in wrestling too. We've had wrestlers come down here. Now, it's been a while, but it's on the athlete and their families to commit and transport themselves. So that's an issue.
sure.
We don't like that. Whenever possible, we'd rather have, the sport in the school with the coach.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Any idea how many participate at Timberline?
How many kids?
Being cross country.
I don't know. There was a fairly large team. I
Was
don't
it?
know off the top of my
Okay.
head how many there were this year, and successful.
Yeah, really good. I was thinking 10 or 15.
That's what I was thinking, but 10 to
Yeah,
12.
yeah.
Yeah,
12.
awesome.
And some of them were, like Becca mentioned, it's a sport that you can dual sport with. So they might, some of them at Timberline, I know were volleyball players or, I don't know if we had any high school football players, but we have in junior high quite a bit. Junior high kids will dual sport.
So thinking about the negotiated agreement,
That we
So
would have
that-
to do separately.
Yeah, it's not.
It would be able to do that tonight.
I know, I'm just thinking about, so we have these categories, right? So where does it fit in a category?
Head coach, cross country.
I'm looking for it. So it's not the first category 2, it's the second category. Okay. Oh no, that's a third coach. Okay, that's where I am right now. Oh, okay, I didn't see it. Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm a sports guy. Many sports you can have better off. They're doing sports, they're not doing bad stuff. So that's why I look at it.
Totally agree.
Maybe we could convert them to a cross-country ski team in the wintertime.
Maybe they'll, be in better shape for softball and baseball in the spring because they ran all fall. So a lot of kids don't play football anymore and they don't want to. And so this gives them something to do.
Cross country is a fairly affordable sport.
Yeah.
You have the cost of the salary and then travel is the main thing. There's not a lot of equipment.
Right. Right.
Well, and right out our back door.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Deo is used
Mhm.
because they paint the rocks for me.
No, nice.
And I would imagine they would use Rorschach, some of the trails.
Yeah.
To practice there. Okay, so any further discussion? Taylor, any insight?
No, I think it's great. I agree. The more sports, the better.
And we do have our education attainment limit for sports participation, so,
Yeah. So if they don't have the numbers, it's not gonna be a moot point.
right,
Like Timberline baseball, it's, if they ever had the numbers back, we'd have it, but they don't. So they come to Orofino.
um. So it's head coach gets an additional $4,095. So we would would we need to add that as an additional transfer amount? Or do you think it's pennies considering the
Yeah.
millions of dollars?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, well, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with OJSH cross-country team and hire a head coach if the numbers allow.
I'll second that.
I think it's important to identify what those numbers are.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
so are
our,
we in the discussion?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
Yep.
what's tennis or something that's,
I'll be honest with you, I never did cross country. So I don't know what a team looks like. I just know a bunch of kids used to run a lot. So how many do you need for a cross country team?
Base it on a percentage of population? Do we know the percentage that participates in track currently?
I can tell you that historically, you know, that kind of decision's been managed at the building level.
yeah,
We do have, like, if there's this many kids, there's gonna be a second coach or a
right,
third
right.
coach.
Yeah, you have to get it.
But what we've done is decided how many kids, like for baseball or softball, it's like, okay, how many do we absolutely have to have, and then determine what the cushion should be.
Yep.
And then oftentimes, you know, who the athletes are, and you can kind of determine, okay, what kind of real commitment do we have here, or are they just saying, cross country, you can run a cross country team with one. They've done it in the past, so really, if
I'm
we
with you.
decide to set that, it would be a new precedent.
I think I'd leave it at Becca's
At the
discretion
building level.
or the AD's, new AD's discretion when he starts.
If the number's very low, you know, we likely would not.
Yeah.
And we would co-op.
Yeah, then they. Yeah, cause that's
Well,
how,
we didn't put co-op in there though.
No,
but that's already, I mean,
Yeah.
Timberline softball, if they had 10 girls, there's a coach already approved, but
They
it's
can
been a
already go
long
out there.
time.
Gotcha.
When I was playing baseball, we had a team and then as soon as our class dropped off, everybody had to come down to Orofino. Just cause the numbers weren't
been
there.
years.
It's been years since it, but we would, if they got it back, and we already have that coach set in there or approved, we'd have to hire it, but. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
And do we have any kids going up to Timberline under a co-op now?
Last year.
No.
I think
Those are kinds of worst, you know, the
Yeah.
worst case scenario, where you really have one or two kids that are really passionate about something and you want to provide them an opportunity. It's not ideal at all, but
No,
we still try to provide that opportunity through a co-op.
I just saw the one softball player drive off that grade every day. I was glad she was there, but I mean, there's a big commitment for her family to play softball down here. Be so much better if they had enough girls to have a team, you know, but
Oh, I know, I just,
yeah.
opening the negotiated agreement.
Yeah, you guys have
After
been living that.
ratified is an issue that's in my mind. Where I'm coming from. Okay,
This would be, you know, this would just be a step, and then if we, you know, if one or the other sides doesn't agree to open it, it would be open. So just understand that, you know, this was just the
Right.
school board approving the
Mhm.
possibility of it. That step would have to happen.
Mhm.
And we would only open up for that stuff.
Yeah.
And if they, otherwise we wouldn't open. It really
Okay.
should be a seamless process to do this.
Any
But-
further,
I never know.
any further discussion, Taylor, any input? I want to remind myself that she's here.
No, I agree that, yeah, with what you guys are saying.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 I
I wish we knew how many and had real expression of interest. But I know that we need to give kids opportunity. So. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the FY 26 budget approval. We had a budget hearing at 5 o'clock tonight here in this room. You want to come present the summary, or is that what the hearing was about?
Yeah, that was there.
That was the hearing.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, so, can I get a motion to approve the FY 26 budget as approved, or as presented?
I will make a motion that we approve the 2026 budget as presented this evening.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, just appreciate all the extra information to make it smoother this year.
Absolutely. And all the
Thank
hard
you.
work.
Yeah, very much so. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. We have FY 25 budget revisions.
What was
You should present those, please.
Okay, so the budget revisions listed here is funds that came in throughout the year that were unbudgeted at the beginning of the year. So they're broke out by the general fund and all other funds. And then the totals are up at the top there. So you can see we received an additional 18,381.88 in our general fund due to donations, et cetera, that were given to the schools or the district. And then in our other funds down below, we have, again, donations that went to, we have like the food pantry. So that's a new fund that we manage. And we also have our federal grants that come in. So when I get the carryover amounts or the new totals for those, I have to make revisions in the year. We usually don't get those totals till about October or so. So those have to happen at that point. Our CTE funding that comes in throughout the year, we budget revision those back in because we don't know what that funding is yet at this point. Other things that happen throughout the year when we have like an insurance claim. And then our big ones here, we had our Idaho Career Ready Student Grant carryover stuff that came in. And then our School Modernization Fund. So that was our biggest one that we saw this year. Which again carries over into our FY 26 balance. So that was our biggest revision of this year that really makes up that large increase for this year's budget.
There's only, I'm sorry. As you say, there's only one negative. What's that?
So our Title 1A grant, they actually reduced the
They
amount
actually
that they
pulled it
granted
back.
us this year.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that was subtracted from the overall.
Yes, so
That's
that's
what
what
we
I had.
Yep.
By our initial application, it looked like we were getting a certain amount, and by October, when they gave it to us, they
They pulled that
deducted
back. Okay.
that amount.
Buggers, do we know what?
Yes.
No,
I think
They don't give us
everything
no
else looks
reasons.
really good. There's one negative. The rest is money coming in.
Yeah, and just to remind the public, the school modernization facility funds are for capital improvement around facilities
for 10
passed
years.
by the
And-
state legislature.
Yeah, for 10 years.
Yep.
Hmm.
Thank you, ma'am. I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 budget revisions as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Brittany. Okay, the next item is the fiscal year 26 negotiated agreement. This is with the Clearwater Education Association.
Yeah, I don't
Is there
think
a
I've
link
seen
for
that yet.
that, or?
Jason, Brian, and I, and Farah, and Brittany, and Becca are the team for the district in the negotiations process.
Check your email and see if you got
June
to
5th.
share. Just today, actually,
Oh, today?
for
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Oh,
And you may not have.
From you?
I don't know if it would come from Lindsay or I. When I requested that you have access, then I think she has to approve it. Because it's her document. And Brian doesn't have it, so I'm guessing you don't either.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you didn't get
was
it?
pretty caught up
Hmm.
with everything.
Can I forward it?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So do we have to do it at this meeting?
Yeah,
yeah, from the standpoint of
important.
issuing contracts.
Mhm.
Just like the budget, it's gotta be done.
we can go through we can go through all the changes. and talk
Okay, yeah,
about it.
yeah. If you guys go through the high bullet points, I mean, you guys have been doing all the work, so we.
Do you want a printout of it or just want to hear it?
Copy of it. I lived it.
Yeah, you guys lived it, so we're just,
So.
I mean, we threw you in to deal with all of it, so I mean, we gotta trust you with how it came out, but yeah, I'd like
But I
just the
do
bullet
think
points.
it's important to go
Well,
through the,
I think we should get it to
Yeah.
you so that you can digest it.
Yep.
But yeah. You wanna kick off?
Sure. The version we're looking at has all the suggested changes and then the CEA is already ratified. So once the board approves, then we'll have an agreement that we can issue contracts based on. The most important thing and most expensive is the salary schedule and the benefits. So to start with, in insurance, we agreed to pay for the status quo insurance that we have. The additional cost to us this year is approximately $145,000. The state increased their insurance funding about $125,000. So the difference for us this year is $20,000. That's a very expensive plan that we pay $2.3 million for, but the difference this year wasn't significant. We have in the salary schedule, we were paying teachers who earned a bachelor's plus 72 credits an additional $6,000 on top of their salary. And we were only, the state was only funding 1,500 or 35 for that one.
1575, right?
Oh,
20%.
yeah, how many credits they have. Anyway, that was a significant burden to the budget versus what we were allocated and what we paid them. So in the salary schedule, we changed that column. Get back to that real quick. And we grandfathered everybody that was in there at bachelor's plus 72, but we're not going to let anybody else go into there. Now at the end of it, it's master's plus 24, and that's it. We created a bachelor's plus 60. So teachers that didn't get a master's degree and kept getting their credits would get into that category more quickly. But it's not worth as much. That one is 3,500, isn't it? Thank you. And it's not on this salary schedule, so I wasn't remembering. The state forced minimum raises in the R1, P1 and AP1. And so that forced large percentage raises in that portion of the career ladder. And we were able to negotiate, what's that?
Was it 10?
11.
11.
Yeah. We were able to negotiate a minimum of 3% raises for everybody. And some of those lower ones got significant raises because, up to 13 point something because of the state required minimums. But we were able to come up with a 3% minimum for all staff. We also blacked out a couple of cells at the bottom of the bachelor's column. So you cannot continue to go all the way down. You can only go to P10 instead of P12 unless you move over in credits. So we're incentivizing education. You have to move over to bachelor's plus 24 after P10 to keep getting a raise. Now, if that cell that you're in gets a raise, which historically they have, then you would get a raise. But in order to move over, you have to get more education. And then we blacked out the very bottom one for bachelor's, second column plus 24, so that, again, you can work your way all the way down except for the last jump, and then you need to move over in order to continue getting raises.
And they report those credits earned to FARA by,
Correct.
I think we said August 1st. We wanted to have that information. Is that what we said?
Yeah, I thought that is what it said.
We have 2 employees that are going to finish their master's degree by the end of August. The states, we basically have till September 1st, according to the state. So that's what I've communicated is August 31st. Yeah. And then what I do is report, we input that data into Skyward, and that's extracted through an IC report that's sent to the state. And so that way our data that we have in our system matches what the state is funding us off of. So it's going to be cutting it close for those two. I think we've got everyone else updated, but we'll get them in there and make sure the funding is done correctly. Yeah.
There was a lot of discussion around that attainment piece, and I'm glad you spoke of it at your leadership retreat, so that maybe we can make sure people are aware of that whole opportunity.
We were also able, this isn't in the negotiated agreement, but we wanted to make sure that all of our staff are at the same minimum raise. So all of our staff will be at 3% raise, classified and admin, as well as the minimum certified. Yeah. Nobody would get less than 3% this year. Want to be clear that when I say 3%, that's total dollar amount. You know,
Right.
Sometimes we've talked about percentage raises in the past, and we've just meant the percentage of raise to the particular cell that they were in or going into. And in this calculation, I'm talking about total raise. So that's how much, percent of their income they will have to, in addition to.
And I think the work that we went through sort of sets the stage for a salary schedule going into the future. So I think that's
Sure.
good. It was arduous and passionate conversation, but I think that the work that we did there kind of sets that foundation. So
Our scout salary schedule now, the minimum is 50,252, which is awesome,
Yeah.
up to 78,437. So,
Very competitive.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I started, it was 23,320 was my first.
Wow.
So we've come a ways. We've got a ways to go, but
We're gonna say my mom, I
Appreciate that.
$3.17 an hour.
think when mom retired, she was just getting in the 50s, so.
the bachelor's plus 24 is worth $2,000 educational allocation. The bachelor's plus 60 or master's is 3,500. And then the master's plus 64 is 6,000.
Nice.
Questions about the salary schedule?
Taylor, you got any questions?
Nope, I don't have any.
There was some discussion around the CTE students or teachers, right?
No, there was, but that was just associated with the different conversation. The discussion was some of our student support personnel, speech language pathologist, or the rest of them coding. School site and occupational therapist. Thank you. We've been paying them a $5,000 additional to their base salary, but that wasn't in the negotiated agreement, and it should have been. So that was added to this negotiated agreement, that those specific professions which require us to pay more for their services will receive an additional 5,000 to their base.
And we've always done that.
Yeah, and we get less from the state than what we pay them.
Yes, for everybody.
Yeah.
There are no alternative, those, if we don't keep our own, we have to pay at least double to contract with them. They're very valuable people and specialized. And so this is a really good solution for the district. We just didn't have it in the negotiated agreement in the past.
So the next one is the extracurricular schedule, I believe. And we had some input that let's see, that's cheerleading. The season is incredibly long. It's sort of double. And so what we did was we added a competition payment to cover between the cheerleading season supporting our youth playing to when the cheer actually competes, and they do really well.
Yeah, they do.
And so we discussed the value there and added an additional dollar amount for the cheer head coach around competition
And assistant.
and
both
the
coaches.
assistant. Yep.
These are all the same as last year.
Yep.
Okay.
We noted that if coaches are required to drive their own vehicle to an event, they also qualify under mileage reimbursement as the rest of our employees.
Yeah, I honestly thought we had that covered in policy.
We
But,
do.
and it is in policy, but it wasn't referenced in here, so that was something. There's that one. What's next? We aligned the insurance information, on top of page 38.
We added a little paragraph that says employees will not be required to perform any duty or act which threatens anyone's physical safety or well-being while in your work environment. We added a paragraph explaining flex time and how
It's
it should be
19
used.
additional hours or 19
Yeah.
hours that they could have more flexibility around how they used it, right?
We pay our certified staff an additional 19 hours for work for work outside of the general duties. We added a paragraph that really explains that. It says flex time totaling 19 hours is provided to all certified employees to compensate for personal. That's funny.
Personal.
For principal.
Oh.
He did that for me.
Yeah, thank you. Designated or approved work typically performed outside of their regular contracted hours. Examples may include working during their designated lunch period, covering another teacher's class, attending after hours meetings, supervising evening school events, or participating in PD outside the standard workday, including district required drive time from your designated work site. All of these flex hours must be pre-approved and documented. So in the past, there was an understanding there, but it wasn't really spelled out. So
And then we also gave them 2 hours of the PD time dedicated for the wellness committee. They were feeling as though they couldn't carve that time out separately on their own. And my understanding is that was okay by administrators.
I think that's it. Yep.
Yep. Then it was just date changes to align with the new fiscal year. And you too could participate on negotiations.
This was a good agreement with amicable, participation from the union and board members, admins. We had support from Brittany and Farah, it's a good process. And I think this it's a good agreement for our staff and our district.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about even 4 years ago, we didn't have schedules. I mean, our ranges, the amount of work Farah put in with that, and then the last few years of the negotiations, now that we have it set up too. I mean,
I think one of the important components is the transparency within the group and the work group itself. We want our teachers to be successful and we want our students to be successful. So everybody's in that room trying to come up with what's really the best. And I thought Jason did a great job leading the way again this year. Last year was rough. This was a lot easier. Took a little more time. The state mandatory raises really threw some wrenches in trying to develop the right component. But I thought Bill and his team did a great job, and I'm glad we're done.
So with that, I ask you to ratify this negotiated agreement with a motion.
I will make a motion that we accept the fiscal year 26 negotiated agreement as presented and discussed.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
Thank you guys, all of you. And you out there, the education union. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you. We do not have policy read. We should, I guess. We should
No policy.
amended there. Approval of alternative authorization for the Youth Challenge Academy. Jim?
I can speak to it. We just have one teacher. He's already, it's already been approved. He has 2 more years to complete it. He'll complete it soon, but he still has to be board approved each year.
You like him?
Okay. Perfect.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the alternative authorization at IDYCA as presented.
Also, go ahead.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Supplemental contracts, IDYCA. I missed that link, I'm sorry.
It's good to me.
Yeah, same here.
These are their extended day contracts.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the supplemental contracts for IDYCA as presented.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Glad to see Miss Ward's back in Pierce.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, not yet. We need to approve her.
Well, I guess once we approve her,
Once we approve, yeah.
she'll be back.
So kind of backwards here. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. New hires and separations. Speaking of Ms. Ward and the Ward clan,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the new hires and separations as presented.
I'll second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Taylor.
Taylor, are you with
Aye.
us? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
aye.
okay. Oh. Are you still looking at him? Do you want to?
I just didn't know with our public comment if we were approving as presented.
That's a good discussion. Any thoughts there?
Yeah.
Motion carries?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. I think we have to.
All right. Region 2 PC, it's about purchasing cooperative for food. And I was just wondering, like, any red flags that we need to be prepared about?
The 2 things that we're really looking at and following up on is juice as a Buy American product. Right now, most juices isn't considered Buy American. And starting on July 1st, we have to track all foods that I purchase that is not Buy American, and no more than 10% of our budget can go toward those items. So this year we tracked it and we came in at about 8 or 9%. So I think we're okay to take the lower bid on the item that's technically not Buy American, but that's what the kids have been drinking for 2 years and and it's cheaper. The other thing, we'll have to watch that. So if our Buy American numbers go up, we'll have to switch product and pay a little more. The other one is milk. We're really considering a shelf-stable milk product because of the price of the milk we're buying. And it has expiration dates. A lot does get discarded that shouldn't. We can pay about 2 cents more and get a shelf-stable milk that's good for 16 months, that we wouldn't have any waste. So we're going to watch the milk prices over the summer to see if they stay high or if they drop off. If they drop lower, then we'll continue. But if they stay high, we'll look at maybe going to a shelf-stable milk that we'll eliminate the waste that way.
And the decision making about that, because it's regional, is all of us? We're
Yeah,
all in?
all 12 districts. Well, each district can make their own choice on if they're going to stick with the state milk contract or if they want to purchase shelf stable. That's a district decision. We bid the product and we have this, the state bid for milk, so you can choose either or.
Oh, okay, so we're not stuck into one?
Nope, we're not. Each district can do what's best for them.
Oh, okay.
And some outlying areas, our state contractor is refusing to deliver to
Serve.
some of the outlying areas, not so much north, but the south, big time.
Mm.
And they were forced to go to all shelf stable.
Interesting.
This is crazy.
I wonder how the kids, what, is there a flavor difference?
they
I remember
mix?
buying milk in a carton in
We-
Mexico 40 years ago.
Well, we got some at the end of the year and tried it. And the kids who said it was creamier, they liked it better.
Yeah, they like it
So-
better.
Yeah, we're drinking Costco milk because it lasts a lot longer than regular milk and my
Mhm.
kids got used to it. I didn't like it at first, but now I do.
I don't drink milk,
It's
so-
still milk. It's just how they
Yeah,
process it.
just lasts a
Some
lot
hold it
longer.
longer.
When I bought it in a little sealed carton, like you would have,
Mhm.
broth, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it comes.
Yeah, that was over 40 years ago.
See?
Okay, a motion to, get a motion? On the R2PC bid award.
I'll make a motion to approve the R2PC bid award as presented.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I always do that backwards.
I just can't get over the 16-month shelf life. Gotta tell you.
Creamier.
Well, it's creamier. All right.
Chunkier.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of items in executive.
Okay.
And we'll be back.
I'll make a
Motion to go to the executive.
Make a
Thank you.
motion, adjourn to executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061A.
Need a second.
B.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
We need a roll call.
Roll call. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Saint Germain.
Yes.
Trustee Craig.
Yes.
Trustee Daniel.
Yes.
Trustee Kepke.
Yes.
Trustee McIntosh.
Yes.
Who will you call? Brian?
We'll call you.
It doesn't matter, whoever wants me to call them.
We'll call you. Brian will call you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Finally had a baby deer out front this morning.
Yeah, I got some pictures of some twins
So
at my
the
mother-in-law's.
Baby elk squished on the highway just before 57 Terrell.
Back in.
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay, let's call the meeting back to order. All right, so we did have an action in executive session. Did we read this code? I don't remember, I'm sorry.
Do you want to read it? Say any action item.
Okay. Any action taken in executive session is in accordance with Idaho Code 33-205.
Thank you. Okay, are we interested in future agenda items on top of mind?
I do, had, a parent reach out and I would like to talk about field maintenance
Okay.
at OES and Orofino Junior Senior High School.
Yes. Figured. And that job is still open. It'd be a great summer job if somebody, because that would really help.
Somebody apply, please.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So Carmen, can you make sure that's on the agenda for next as a discussion item?
Yep.
Field job.
We got an email from Phil ISBA about the opportunity for a summer retreat. My thought was a conversation around creative financial strategies for sustainability.
There we go.
Are you interested?
Yeah. I think we have to be.
We should be.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the month with the most flexibility for y'all? We have 2 left, July or August.
August is more flexible for me personally.
Yeah, probably the same.
I agree. August is more flexible.
Can it be the beginning? I have a week of dealing with family issues.
Yeah, where's it at? Here
25th.
or
Yeah, we'll bring him here.
bring them here?
First week of August, the admins are at some conference.
So the second week,
Second week.
I know I'm out of town the 14th and 15th of August, but if
Sure.
I'm the only one that can't make it, then
Well, good.
And you're the days the
Good.
you're the
13th.
money woman. I need to get my calendar pulled up.
11th.
Taylor, do you have any?
Week of the 11th. You don't leave till Thursday?
Right.
right, yeah.
This is a whole week. What you said? No.
No,
No,
it's
it's the day.
day.
Oh, okay.
Day.
We're just saying the week of the 11th. Would a
No,
day
no.
on that week
Oh,
work?
yeah.
Get the 15th.
My calendar.
11th, 12th, or 13th? No.
The 11th, 12th, or 13th. The 11th or 12th would work best for me. I could make the 13th work if it was just like an evening session.
Okay, 11, 12. I will
Yep.
try
11,
11,
I could be
12.
11 or 12 as well.
Same.
Okay,
Actually, the 11th, I'll have city
Council.
council, so
12th would be
12.
amazing.
12th.
Let's shoot for the 12th.
Okay, I'll ask Phil.
Cool.
And if he's coming in the afternoon and if it's just a few hour thing, I can do the 13th too. It's just during the day I have several meetings.
Yep.
13th is district day.
That's district day.
So
Okay.
What time? So that'll be in the morning. I'll want to come down.
Yeah, me too.
But you want us there in the morning if we can? Okay. I wanna get
you got another comedian? That was pretty fun
Eight.
last year.
No, I need some good ideas.
Chris is gonna tell jokes.
Not good at that. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Bye.
aye.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks.
Okay.